running around fixing this and that, giving it up to God and then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. Get out of the way.
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 Get out the way and let God do its thing. You look like the weight of the world's on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama ain't good for you. You couldn't change what is if you wanted to. Get out of the way.
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 Get out the way and let God do its thing. Come on, Fred. The sun is gonna shine and the river's gonna flow. The tide is gonna rise without your say-so. The universe is working and the good is flowing. You don't plant a seed, then dig it up to see if it's growing. Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Well, get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Get out the way and let God do its thing. Just do it. Oh, yeah.
Now let's do your thing. Everybody stand and sing I Feel the Spirit.
I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 And I feel the joy. I feel the joy moving in me. 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 And I feel the love. I feel the love moving in me. 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 I feel the Spirit. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Let's keep going.
Yes, I am here to. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God. Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God, my God. And I know forevermore that I am Yes, I am here to learn. Yes, I am here to live. Yes, I am here to be the love of God. Yes, I am here to learn. Yes, I am here to live. Yes, I am here to be the love of God, my God. And I know forevermore that I am loved. Yes, I know forevermore that I am loved. Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God, my God, of God, my God, of God, my God.
Thank you, Andy DeWitt, Reverend Fred, and the UCOP Band. What a beautiful, beautiful opening to our service today. Welcome, good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park, all who have gathered in the room today. Those of you who are tuned in to our virtual balcony. Virtual balcony on Facebook and YouTube. That was close, but not quite. Okay. I'm Reverend Jackie Fernandez, and it is my great joy to serve as your senior minister.
And it's my great joy as well. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. It's wonderful to be here with all of you wherever you may be, whenever you may be with us.
Yeah, if you're tuning in the future, we call you into this space. We are so grateful to gather week after week to remember who and whose we are, to practice having a new thought about ancient wisdom. And we are now in our Fall Faith series, See No Stranger, and we will be engaging the two practices of revolutionary love, to grieve and to fight, not with rage, but with wisdom and love. So let's turn within as we establish this morning in a prayerful way. We give thanks, for this is the day that we as God co-create. We rejoice and we are glad in it. We are grounded into the earth and we are lifted into the heavenly realm. Assured in our wholeness, one with the one. Because we are alive today, everything is possible, so we open our hearts and our minds to possibility. What might we co-create on this day? Who might we be? How might we express the divine on this day? What is calling to be born through us, to be lived through us, to be loved through us? We allow the guidance of Spirit to reveal the answers to those questions throughout the day. We remain available and open with wonder and curiosity about each other, about ourselves, and about Spirit. As we yield to the work of love, we affirm one of our foundational affirmations in unity together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
You know, it is such a sacred privilege and honor to hold others in prayer when they approach us and ask for that support. And it's just as sacred, just as important to receive prayer as well. And so this morning, I'd like to share the prayer that's been offered to us by Silent Unity this month and encourage you to open your hearts to receive their words as being spoken, offered directly to your hearts. Our dear friends in Unity, as we write to you today, we think of these words of Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, who said, "Our work is to call attention to the true way of living and to inspire others to want to live in that true way." You inspire so many people through your love and your prayer consciousness, and we are honored to call you our partners in this work. The truth principles you know and live by help you to walk a path of light and peace and to live with meaning and purpose. Your prayerful moments with God are your source of peace and wisdom in every experience. And so as we enfold you in prayer, we affirm love, peace, health, and prosperity in your lives. What an honor it is to pray with you and to enfold you in our love. For you are a valuable part of this work, and we give thanks for you and for the blessings you are to us and to those whose lives you touch each day. In oneness, Silent Unity. And so it is we pray. Amen.
Amen. And so with Silent Unity and all of the Unity movement, we affirm our vision statement together. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Thank you, Reverend Jackie. Thank you, Reverend Eileen. Here comes Andy DeWitt.
When you start to doubt if you exist, God believes in you. Confounded by evidence, God believes in you. When your light burns so dim, when your chances look so slim, and you swear you don't believe in Him, God believes in you. When you rise up just to fall again, God believes in you. Deserted by your closest friends, God believes in you. When you're betrayed with a kiss, you turn your cheek to another fist. It does not have to end like this. God believes in you. Oh, everything matters if anything matters at all. Everything matters no matter how big, matter how small. Oh, God believes in you. Oh, God believes in you. When you're so ashamed that you could die, God believes in you. And you can't do right even though you try, God believes in you. Blessed are the ones who grieve, the ones who mourn, the ones who bleed. In sorrow you'll sow, but in joy you'll reap. God believes in you. Blessed are the ones who grieve, the ones who mourn, the ones who bleed. In sorrow you'll sow, but in joy you'll reap. God believes in you. Oh, God believes in you. Oh, God believes in you.
Thank you, Andy, again for such a heartfelt rendition of that song. And that truth, God believes in us. And when I think about what's happening in the world today, it is a true miracle that even still, God believes in us. And I want to be really careful with that statement because as it's written, it might position God outside of us. But I want to remind us that God, the word we use to name that which is unnameable, is the infinite pulse of life, the infinite pulse of love in the universe and all that exists. And that infinite pulse is choosing to express itself as you and you and you and you and each and every one of us. And so there is a faith inherent in that expression. And that's what it means God believes in you. Take a breath. Does it make you sit a little taller in your chair? That you are on purpose, even if you feel like you don't know your purpose. You were chosen. I have a short list of topics that I will not speak on. The first topic on that list is peace. Because what happens to a minister when they speak on a topic is that precious holy presence, God, will teach you all about it. So I think it was after my first year here, I was like, oh boy, I am taking every Advent Sunday of peace off. You will not see me in the pulpit. Because I learned, how do you learn how to cultivate peace? You experience all the things that will disrupt your peace. So I have now added grief to that list, to grieve. And I feel like I have a really healthy relationship with death, with dying, with being present, with loss in that regard. But there are all kinds of other things to grieve. And I think right now we are being called to really open our hearts to that which is calling us to grieve. And I'm not even limiting that to what's happening in the world, what might be happening in your own life, what's happening in this country. But I'm opening up because time isn't real. I want to open it up to all that has happened in the past, because if you are following us in our book, See No Stranger, this chapter about grief spends a lot of time reliving the experience of 9/11. And that got me thinking, because of how Valerie Kaur goes back even before that to her family, which over 100 years ago immigrated to the U.S., and what their experience was, what they lost in terms of believing in the American dream, and instead being characterized as the least desirable group of people to immigrate into the United States. So then I go back to my own family. The Treaty of 1848, in which the U.S. acquired the Southwest, which was formerly Mexico, and the people on the land. Because my family goes 16 recorded generations back to what is now known as New Mexico. And I've shared that with you before, but even for me, there is a new context to that. Even as I have grieved what it feels like in my own body to be both the colonized and the colonizer. I have one grandmother from Germany. I have my mother's paternal lineage is from New Mexico. But my grandmother's side of the family is from Zacatecas, Mexico, so right in the heart of Mexico. So I have a lot of that history of what has happened in this land epigenetically in my body, in my soul. And I wonder if the book, if you were reading the chapters, if that sort of brought some of that up for you, if you're thinking about your epigenetics. in this country, we have, I don't think since maybe the 1400s that there has been a period of time of real peace. Peace between people and peoples. And so I just want to let's just dive right in, right? I'm in. Here we are. And on my way in this morning, kind of just thinking about all of these things, I was reminded just about a month ago, I celebrated my 5th anniversary here as senior minister. And on September 7th, there was a blessing for me. Reverend Eileen and Reverend Jen stood up here. You all blessed me and held me in love. And some of you remember because we talked about it after service. During that blessing, the Chinook helicopters flew over Kansas City, and they made their way from Gardner, Kansas, over our building, across Kansas City as they departed that base, or I don't know what the word is for it, but they were housed there. They are no longer housed there. During the blessing by Reverend Jen, I heard the helicopters, what felt like hovering over, and I'm going to share with you what I shared with some people right after the service. My first thought was an ICE raid. So I'm here receiving this blessing, trying to stay present and grounded to this, and also sort of judging myself for even having this ridiculous thought. The ICE is about to drop from helicopters, right? It is laughable. Until I shared it at lunch, the second time I said it out loud, I was grief-stricken that was my experience. And the reason it came to mind is because this week in Chicago, there was an ICE raid in which dozens of ICE agents repelled from Black Hawk helicopters. There were over 300 agents, not all of them repelled from the helicopters, but dozens of them did, to raid a building an apartment building just after midnight. Zip tying women and children and people outside of the building. It is horrific. So was that sense that I felt just fear gripping me? Was it a premonition? I can tell you now that I don't think it was ridiculous. And I am grief-stricken to stand here and say that. And what Valerie Kaur offers to us is that as a nation, we do not have a healthy process for grief. We are very quick to go into fight mode, and you cannot grieve and fight at the same time. So she outlines grief as one of the 10 practices for revolutionary love, that we must sit in our pain. We must sit with others in their pain, that we may get to know each other at a deeper level, so that then we can move in solidarity with and for each other. The next chapter is fight. And I tell you, I had to wrestle with that one a little bit. I was like, we don't like to talk about fighting and unity. It feels a lot like resistance, which we also don't like to talk about. And we're so, we're nonviolence, we're peace, love, joy. And here is fight. But I want to take her work seriously. And I love how she presents fight. She goes to really a metaphysical interpretation of what it means to fight for justice, to fight against what would rob us of our love, of our expression of justice, to be guided in wisdom. She talks about the sage warrior, which is wisdom, the sage, and warrior, which puts love into action. And I can get behind that, right? If that's how we're going to talk about fight, I can get into that. I want to share with you a few quotes from the book, and I want to remind you, too, that there's the workbook available if you need it for your small group, or if you want to do an individual study. There are many left in the Community Connections room, and you can grab one after service. Violence is a rupture. Violence makes a hole. Not just the damage it inflicts on the body of a person, but the pain it causes in the body of a people. The hole swallows up language, memory, and meaning, and leaves us in a scarred and stripped landscape. She goes on to say, the act of naming the violence and grieving loss in community is how the whole turns into a wound that can heal. But what happens when we don't have time and space to grieve because the violence is ongoing? As soon as we find our voice, we are thrown into the hole again. The only choice is to find a way to speak and grieve even when our wounds are still open and bleeding. This is how I speak to you now. I invite us to embrace the opportunity to hold the both ands. We can be wounded and openly bleeding and actively grieving with our own grief and sitting with that, our own pain, and with others. That is the experience of community. All peoples, every corner of the world, throughout history, has created grief rituals that are community-based. Even today, yesterday, we had a celebration of life in here. People gathered. Our prayer chaplains showed up. Our volunteers showed up. Pancho Javier was here with Reverend Fred by request from the deceased, who was a longtime congregant here, Doreen Axon, from 1998 to 2016, and she moved to Colorado Springs. She requested, before she died, that her service be held here in her spiritual home and that Reverend Fred be at the piano. So we invited Pancho because he was here at the time that she was. Then we went to the cemetery and we held the graveside ritual for the interment. Other cultures will have bonfires. They'll release ashes into water. There are so many different expressions of grief, almost all of which are held in community. And what I think is really important to notice about that is yet grieving and the process of grieving is also a very personal experience. When it's about a person that we are grieving, only you have the relationship with that person that you have. Even if your sibling set, only you have that relationship with your sister. Your other siblings have their own relationship. So when you grieve the loss of that person's presence, it is a unique journey. You have memories that are stored now only in your being. And yet, we come together to share that pain. And so I want to invite us as we expand our expression of grief and our need to grieve to what's happening in our communities, to be willing to sit with each other's pain without judgment. You know, there was that sort of, exclamation that went around when President Barack Obama was elected. See now, racism is over. We've got a black president. We're not a racist country. I don't need to say anything else, do I? We must be spiritually disciplined enough to not allow our pain to slip into shame, because that serves no one. It doesn't serve the community. It doesn't serve the individual. It gets us nowhere. So we must be willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which was a practice that Reverend Eileen worked with so many of you who participated in our anti-racism groups. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And a few of you, and I want you to hear me, a few of you, so if what I say next is something you said to me, I'm not talking about you. I'm also talking about you. But a few of you have said something along the lines that this book is really challenging for a white person, particularly for a white man to read. And so I want to really bring into this space that now is an opportunity to hone your skill, your competency at being a white ally, to not slip into shame and, I've done so much as a white man, or white men throughout history have done so much harm, and it keeps coming up over and over in the book and in all of these conversations. But we're not going to slip into that shame, because if we do that, then we hide from it and we don't do the work of healing. And so I want you to be empowered, whatever privilege you hold, that you leverage it to empower others, to build a longer table. to create space, to center other voices, to use your privilege for good, not as a shadow to overshadow others. That this is part of the spiritual journey of leaning into and expanding the definition of living into our oneness. So I empathize with how it might be difficult to work with the content of this book. And I hope, and my prayer for you is that you embrace the opportunity to grieve in ways that you have yet allowed yourself to grieve, because it feels so big. You are not responsible for all that has happened, but you are capable of creating and shaping the future. You are capable of rewriting the story for someone else who has experienced marginalization, oppression, discrimination over and over in their lifetimes. You are capable of redefining revolutionary love. And so now is the time to embrace that ability to redefine it for yourself. And an important key to that process is going to be to grieve. For me, I'm grieving the loss of an expectation that I am safe wherever I am in this country. I have to come to terms with that so that I stop ridiculing myself for having a sense of fear. My whole life, I don't have a Spanish accent. My skin is pretty light. I'm white passing. Even still, I have experienced discrimination, hate speech throughout my life. So I always say I'm as brown or as white as you want me to be. And that's a privilege that I carry. And so I can be with that and be aware of that, and I can use that privilege to create space for those who have less. And it is important for me to sit with the grief that that brings. Because when I am denied the full vibrancy of my Latina heritage, there is a sadness. There is a sadness. That it is better in some spaces for me to be less Mexican. Do you remember that Sunday that I confessed to you? I'm Mexican. I tried to hide it as long as I could, but a few years into my ministry here, I was like, I gotta tell them. And that says, it's nothing to say about you, and you hired me, right? But that has been sculpted and shaped because of my life experience. So I walk carefully through certain spaces. I deny parts of myself so that I might be more fully accepted. There's a lot to unpack in that experience for me. There's a lot that deserves time and space to be grieved. And I wonder what's coming up for you. We each have experiences in our life that perhaps have created a wound in our hearts, in our soul, in our minds, in the way we think. Perhaps you were raised in a racist family, and until you came of age, maybe you thought that was okay, and that was the way we are, and that you thought better. Maybe you thought, especially if you were born on or before 2001, you thought it was smart to be wary of Muslims or anyone who looked Muslim. Maybe you thought that was wise. Maybe you believed that to be wisdom. And then what happens when we know better? Do we create more violence? Do we create a bigger rupture, a bigger hole in our own soul by packing shame around that? Or do we sit in the pain? And do we allow ourselves to heal? Because when we know better, we do better. Then can we become so mature that we can sit with others in their pain? If you look over at the altar here, we have some items. We have of course, my altar bundle from Peru. We have some fabric. It's a stole that was gifted to me by the Unity Urban Ministerial School, and it is fabric from Kenya. We have an alabaster jar filled with water. And the alabaster is from Africa and from Southeast Asia, and the water in it is meant to represent the sea on which the slave trade took place. Then you'll see ethically sourced sage to represent First Nations. And then you'll see a calavera, a skull, to represent all who have been killed in school shootings, who have been killed by violent crimes of hate and discrimination, by those who have died by suicide because they didn't see a way out. Particularly, I'm thinking of our trans community. I want those relics in here to represent that which deserves our time and energy to grieve as a reality of how we have stitched our communities together. Not you, but we as the collective. Because if we don't own that we are part of the collective, then we disempower ourselves to do anything about what is in expression right now. Instead of love in action, we become love in action. We love, but we're not going to do anything about it. Which brings me to a quote that is before the chapter. I couldn't even get into the chapter because this quote just kind of stopped me in my tracks. If I can find it. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power, correcting everything that stands against love. Do you feel that? So there's a conversation happening. I'm going to check my time here because I could go on. There's a conversation happening among Unity ministers right now about how political we should get in the pulpit. I try not to brag about you all, but there's a lot to brag about here. I feel like there is a spiritual maturity that was present long before I got here that gives me space to speak to what is happening in our world, because from my perspective, and I think you're all very clear about this, if you're new, welcome. If our unity principles and teachings are not relevant to what's happening in the world, then more people will continue to leave and turn away from our unity teachings. If we don't tell people that we have the medicine and show them how to use it, if we instead hide behind words this morning, oh my word, I gotta stay off Facebook. Someone, I won't name names, but a minister, I will say that, said to me, well, I let go of what's mundane and I pray about the rest. I'm paraphrasing. But the word mundane, I had to pray. Because it breaks my heart that there is my words, spiritual bypass, and yes, that is a judgment, but that's what it feels like to me. To use the word mundane, and I think I know this person's heart and where they're coming from, spiritually speaking, it means anything outside the power of spirit, anything that is not of God, the mundane, it has no power because there is only one power. Yes, that is true, but it is not helpful to use that language. In fact, it is metaphysical malpractice. That is harmful to sit before someone whose family has just been ripped away, a U.S. citizen at that, but anyone, a human being, whose family has just been ripped away because our systems don't allow for due process, for someone whose rights are dispensable because of who they choose to love or how they choose to express themselves as a unique and divine, unrepeatable expression of the one holy presence in the universe. Don't get me started. To say I'm going to let go of the mundane is not helpful right now to the children, to the parents who drop their children off at school every day in this country. In fear for what might happen before the day is over. And then we're going to raise a cross or a light for one person's life, but not for our children. Decades and decades we allow this to continue to happen, but if we in this room do not take responsibility for how we have co-created our communities, then we disempower ourselves and the opportunity to make any difference. So we must own up. And that's every single one of us. And I know it's not your fault. I am not blaming you any more than I'm blaming me or taking the blame, but I will take responsibility. I will take responsibility. So then there's another Unity minister who I will name, Reverend Ogun Holder, because I know probably some of you in this room know him. He was married to Reverend Jennifer Holder, who was on staff at UCOP years and years ago. She has passed away. May her memory be a blessing. Ogun posted just this morning, and I commented, thank you, just in time for Sunday. Not all white people uphold white supremacy, but white supremacy upholds all white people. Not all cis men who are assigned male at birth, not all cis men uphold patriarchy, but patriarchy upholds all men. Not all heterosexuals uphold heteronormativity, but heteronormativity upholds all heterosexuals. Not all able bodies uphold ableism, but ableism upholds all able bodies. Not all the rich uphold classism, but classism upholds all the rich. Not all the privileged uphold systems of oppression, but systems of oppression are upheld by the silence of those it privileges. If you are sitting in this room, if you are tuned in online, you have privilege. I'm not saying that's all you got. I'm not saying we all have the same amount of privilege, but you have privilege. You got here. You tuned in online. You have access to resources. You have community. You are not alone. You have people who love you, who know you, who care about you. You have people who pray for and with you. You have privilege. Our challenge today, our opportunity, is to own our privilege in such a way that we shape the world, our communities, our families, our own hearts into revolutionary love, through revolutionary love, into the world that we wish to leave as a legacy to our children and our grandchildren. A world that truly works for all, a phrase that we love to say. I don't really know what it means because I haven't seen it. I barely can imagine it, but I will chase after that dream with everything I've got every day of my life, even in grief, even in pain, even with my wounds bleeding. Will you stand with me? Will you sit with me? Will you sit with each other? Will you sit with those who, in your mind and in quietly, that you might consider to be the other, the enemy? You just can't stand what they say, do, think, etc., represent. Would you be willing to be the presence of revolutionary love in the most difficult of situations? Sit in your discomfort as you cultivate hope for a better way and a better day for humanity. Today we are going to practice grieving. And I'm sorry you weren't warned about that ahead of time, honestly. And so I tried to create this experience in such a way that you will have sovereignty over how deep you go. And we do have Kleenexes on the back counter. We'll have our meditation song, Lead Me Love. And you see before me candles. You see the representation over here of all the reasons we have to grieve collectively. And I know you arrived today with your own. That which maybe you have preferred to stuff down, to repress, to ignore, to just get over, because that's what we do. If you would create just enough space that is comfortable for you here to lean into the strength of community, perhaps it's going to be just the beginning of a journey for you, of really allowing your heart to open around a particular wound. And when you come forward, if you so choose, and it's okay if you don't, you can light a candle in your heart. You can choose to light a candle or two. I want you to consciously think of that for which you are grieving. It is for the generations of people who are impacted by enslavement. Is it for the generations of people who have been moved across this land, who have been butchered, who've been massacred for greed and for power? Because we all make home here, but if we don't make peace here, then we will continue to feel a rejection from the land itself. So we must do the spiritual work of grief. Tomorrow, we do the spiritual work of fight. And in the text, Core offers options for us to pick up a sword. Let it be your voice, your pen, your art, your presence. To hold a shield. And again, it's maybe perhaps community or legal counsel or allies. We're not talking weapons here. We're talking wisdom and love. May our practices of meditation and prayer, breath work, yoga, kirtan, give us space to move grief through our body, that we may fight for justice, that we may fight for the outpicturing of spirit in the world in such a way that Dr. King's words are outpictured. That love and power and justice are siblings that will work together to create that future that we want, where all people are included, all people are valued, all people are able to live with dignity and respect. We don't have to individually try to fix everything, but we can sit with each other. We can sit with another. We can hold an idea and an experience in mind. If your personal pain is so great and your personal wounds are open and bleeding, then light a candle for yourself, because you matter and you count in this process. Put on your own oxygen mask, so to speak, before you help those around you. That is spiritual. That is the work we are called to do. Let us begin.
Lead me, Lord, lead me on. When I'm weary, make me strong. Lead me, Lord, help me grow. Lead me, Lord, lead me home.
Lives lost to violence, the cultures uprooted, and the sacred lands desecrated. May this grief open our eyes and guide our actions. As you feel called and ready, I invite you to come forward and light a candle or two. Please begin from the back so that people don't have to reach over flame. We may begin. I invite Reverend Jen and Reverend Eileen forward to hold space.
am strong. Lead me, Lord. Watch me grow. Lead me, Lord. Lead me home. Lead me.
Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of wisdom, heart of sky. Let this grief be sacred. Let it not harden into shame, but soften into love. Let every tear be a seed of justice. May we remember what has been lost and live in a way that restores what can yet be healed. We simply allow God to move through us as the power and presence of revolutionary love. We sit together in our grief, in our pain, in our disgust, in our embarrassment, in our shame, and we allow all of that to be alchemized for love. We allow our own inner medicine, the infinite in us, God as us, to transmute and transform all that would have us believe we are separate from that which is holy, into the presence, the power, and the knowing of our own oneness in God and with each other. May we cultivate solidarity with all peoples in the light of this oneness. May we cultivate dignity for all peoples in the light of this oneness. May we be respecters of person, of planet, of universe, of holiness, respecters of self. As we grow in solidarity and connection with each other, we learn how to be inclusive, how justice for one is justice for all. So that none are left hungry or war-torn. That instead we build a bigger sanctuary in consciousness, in heart, and on earth. We release the desire of our heart, which is the desire for love, for revolutionary love, into the infinite. And we let it be so. We make it so. And so it is. Amen.
Love, lead me on when I'm weary, make me strong, lead me, Lord, help me grow. Lead me, Lord, lead me, oh, lead me, oh.
I think there are sometimes experiences that don't need any follow-up to them. And so we are going to move into our time of offering, time that we pause to give thanks for all that is given from you to this ministry. And before we bless the offering like we do each week, I just want to say two things. And one, Reverend Jackie said, as a part of her message, don't get me started. Don't you ever stop. And I'm committing on behalf of all of us, wherever we may be right now, that we're going to keep on giving you reasons to want to brag about us, okay? All right. So let's bless our offering by speaking these words together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful.
To Jah, I'm praying. But if you're struggling every day as you're moving life along, I pray Jah go everywhere you go. And if you feel like giving up, just lift your head up to the sky. Just remember that you are not alone. No matter how hard we get up and try again, we try again. No matter how tough we get up and rise again, we rise again. No time for defeat, we get up and rise again, we rise again. No matter how hard we get up and try again. Trials and crosses in your way, but you move it out and go along. 'Cause every day you live, every life you meet, everybody sing the same song. And if you feel like giving up, lift your head up to the sky, and remember that you are not alone. Up and try again, we try again. No matter how tough, we get up and rise again, we rise again. No time for defeat, we're gonna rise again, we're gonna rise again. No matter how hard, we get up and try again. Get up and try again, we try again. No matter how tough, we get up and rise again, we rise again. No time for defeat, we're gonna rise again, we rise again. No matter how hard, we get up and try again. No matter how hard, we get up and try again, we try again. No matter how tough, we get up and rise again, we rise again. No time for defeat, we're gonna rise again, we're gonna rise again. No matter how hard, we get up and try again.
Good morning, everyone. I really didn't mean to say it like that. That wasn't how I was feeling when I was just sitting there a minute ago. But anyway, good morning.
Morning.
The free Raise the Roof event we've been promoting is taking place this Tuesday from 7 to 10 p.m. at the R.D. Gopert Event Center at Unity Village. Join for an evening that includes a concert with Ricky Byers and 80-plus voices choir, along with wisdom from Martha Creek, a healing sound bath, candlelight labyrinth walk, vendor fair, and more. This is being offered as part of the affiliated New Thought Network retreat, and we'd love for you to join us.
Okay, over 100 Good Neighbor conversations are now taking place throughout all spiritual communities of the Good Faith Network. Our UCOP GFN team leaders are conducting these group conversations as we prepare to begin a new cycle of justice with the collective network. If you've not been contacted by a team leader and would like to attend a session to learn more about GFN and consider joining the UCOP network, there are 2 more opportunities, both here at the Fillmore KC. One is after today's service at 11:30 a.m., and then again next Sunday, October 12th, also at 11:30.
And save the date for our 2025 Revolutionary Love Fall Faith Gala and fundraiser. This year's gala is Friday, November 7th at 6 p.m. here in the Fillmore KC Ballroom. We'll have great food, a cash bar, music, dancing, auctions, and raffles. The evening will be one of connecting in sacred community, as well as an opportunity to financially support UCOP and the furtherance of our mission. Tickets are now available in the cafe on Sunday mornings, as well as online using the link included in the e-news.
And we have 2 more events coming up in November. First is the very popular UCOP Spirit Fair. It will encompass 2 days, Friday and Saturday, November 14th to 15th. The weekend kicks off on Friday afternoon with over 20 vendors, followed by an evening with intuitive medium Shelley Wilson, who will offer her Messages from Spirit presentation, where she will respond to your questions and offer messages for your angels, guides, and loved ones in spirit. Tickets for Shelley's event are available in the Community Connections Room and online using the link in our e-news. The fair will continue on Saturday with the vendors and special presentations being offered throughout the day.
The second event is an arts and crafts bazaar on Saturday, November 22nd from 1 to 5. The Fillmore KC will be transformed into a festive marketplace filled with creativity and community spirit. Come and shop unique, handmade, family-friendly treasures created by local artists and crafters, perfect for holiday gifts or for a treat for yourself. Please join me now in speaking our mission statement together. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world.
And now let's bless our UCOP kids.
We extend our hearts and love to our children, knowing that they are doing their sacred work back in the other room, and we are not invited, unless you have been pre-approved. So we thank you, Amy, for all the work that you do and the love that you give to our children. Okay, so also thank you, Andy. That was the coolest little keyboard tube thing that you brought out. Okay, bring that back. That was fun. One instrument I don't play. I'm going to have to add that to my list. Thank you. What's it called? Melodica. Okay, melodica. All right, so this month is October. Oh my. So we're going to welcome, it's the welcome team that we're going to celebrate. So if you serve on the welcome team, the name tags, the ushers, the greeters, please stand so we can show you our love and appreciation for your dedication to our community week after week. Yes. These are the smiling faces that greet newcomers and longtimers alike to every week. So we thank you for your love and dedication to our community. And so you're going to want to join us next week for week 3, Raging Revelation, Listening for Love in the Fire. We'll have guest speaker Reverend Maggie Alderman, who serves as the director of Silent Unity. So that would be a very special blessing for us to have her join us next week with Envy and Reverend Fred and the UCOP band, of course. So just a couple quick reminders. Quiet Path Yoga will meet back in the studio at noon. Also, today would be a great day, I think, based on the experience we just shared, to join Joan for the Good Faith Network meeting here after service. That will be one way that we as a community really expresses our mission statement and revolutionary love right here in Johnson County. And then if you still need a book or a study guide, you can go to the Community Connection Room after service to pick up one of those. And I think that's it for now. So let's stand if you're willing and able, or simply raise your aura, and let's have our closing song.
Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine, spirit of mine, spirit divine, let me shine your light. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine, shine, be glorious, reflect the divine, spirit of mine, spirit divine, let me shine your light. Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel of love. Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel of love. It's all about the love. Time to greet your neighbors on another beautiful Sunday. Be vessels of love. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine, spirit of mine, spirit divine, let me shine your light.
All right, from right where you are, join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. For there is a force of love moving through the universe, and it is you. And it holds us fast, and it will never let us go. Bless you, bless you, bless you. I love you.